Yo, what up, world? So we're going to take a break from the paternity court videos because we got to deal with a lot of copyright situations going on. So while we're dealing with that, getting those things accepted, we're going to go ahead and turn over to this other dope clip, this video. It's with the Whatever Crew, Brian versus Feminists. They pretty much denying the reality of women's strength versus men's strength. It kind of seemed like it's dope just from looking at the thumbnail. Pretty amazing. So let's go ahead and tap into this and let's see what they talking about.
If it is the case that historically the majority of available jobs were physical in nature.
That's not true anymore.
Really?
Doctors.
How many doctors are there?
Shoemakers, clothing makers.
I would argue that even like a shoemaker requires like muscular strength in the arms and dexterity and.
No, but back then.
I'm not an expert in like what is it called when you're there's a specific term when you're a shoemaker, like a what's it called? Cobbler. Like there's probably some level of physicality even.
I'm actually impressed. They knew what a cobbler was. Like, no offense. I'm not saying women don't know anything, but judging from this, and yes, I'm a judgmental person. Judging from this group of people, women, from what they're looking like, it's just, I wouldn't expect them to know what a cobbler was, you know?
Been involved in that. In any case, if it is the case that the majority of jobs historically did require some degree of physical strength, this would seem to, and if it's also the case that men are just generally physically stronger than women, is it any surprise that men were more likely to occupy these positions?
It was purely because of the way society was set up. Because if women were taught to grow strong from a young age and fight to work jobs, they could have easily worked those jobs. And I get that men are stronger physically. However, if a
I don't know. Like, ladies in the comments, what do y'all think? Like, she's saying back in the day, so that opened up the door for me to talk about slavery and everything. So, ladies in the comments, do y'all honestly think, and be honest, do y'all honestly think y'all would be able to go out and plow that field the way that a man did? Like, for hours at hand, pulling them big ass ropes and pushing that ox in and carrying the damn triller that's actually trilling through the soil. Do y'all honestly think y'all would be able to do that? Because it sounds like that's what they're saying. Had y'all been taught and raised, y'all would be able to do and pull that kind of weight.
a woman really tried, she could get as strong as a man in that capacity.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
So wait, just let me ask you this then. If we were to look at the strongest, so the strongest man and the strongest woman to have ever existed,
right?
Or how about alive today? You would say that their strength is equal.
I mean, I don't know the strongest man or the strongest woman, so I'm not sure. However,
it's objective. It's literally objective.
However,
here's 500 pounds. Can you lift it? Go ahead.
However, in the olden days, what we're talking about.
Tell me the olden days, yeah.
There's no gyms. There's just work. There's just birth and work.
I agree.
If a woman was taught to plow fields with her brother and do all that shit with her brother, the same time, same exact teaching styles, she could do the same thing.
So what do you do when you're plowing a field?
I don't know. I've never plowed a field.
Are you lifting things with your upper body strength?
I've never plowed a field.
You should try plow a field.
Stonework.
Ladies, take this into consideration, all right? I'm not taking nothing away from what these ladies are saying, although she is 1,000% wrong. But she's speaking on different topics. She keeps saying, every time I open her mouth, she says, I don't know. She's talking on topics she has no idea. She knows nothing about. She doesn't know what it takes to plow a field. She doesn't know what the work ethic of plowing a field is. She doesn't even know the tools that you use to plow a field with. All of this, like he said, it takes upper body strength. Arms, muscle, chest, back. Just the muscle density that a man has over a woman is just crazy. It's insane. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, not only is she wrong right now, but she's talking on things that she have no idea. Like, I don't even know where she's going with this.
Work, hobbling work.
Tractor.
No, I don't lift. I run because I don't feel like lifting. I don't want to be strong.
I think you could do well.
Yoga.
I probably could if I really wanted to.
You would kill it, Maren.
Thank you.
You would kill it in the fields.
Thank you.
Back to the fields you go. Look, the strongest woman to have ever lived isn't even approaching like.
Well, that's with everything we have today, with the weightlifting and the whatever. And people spent their entire lives dedicated to getting stronger. In the olden days, what we're talking about right now, people did not care. They just wanted to work. And what I was saying is that even though women would be capable to work those jobs, society set them up to not work those jobs on purpose. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's not just on purpose.
It is on purpose.
There's just a strength component to it that cannot be ignored.
But what I just said.
No, but you're saying, well, if these women, and look, I think that there are women who, if they're really strong, I think they can do the job. My argument is, if you have 100 men and 100 women, and both of them, you put both of them through, well, you're saying
the same training,
the same
everything.
training, and they're both like athletic.
Since birth, same food, same everything.
You do all of that, those 100 men are going to be stronger than all of those women.
Well, maybe the women would find out a way to do it without all the strength.
Oh my gosh, here she goes now. This is why you do not talk to a brick wall. Because when he proves a point on a topic that they're on, she deviates from that topic to try to bring in reinforcements from a totally different. We're not talking about ways for a woman to be stronger and pull other, ways out the woodwork to outshine the men. We're talking about strip. He said what she stated. Eat right, work out right. Everybody has the same equal training. The man will still surpass the women, which is true. Because our muscle mass, our body just holds more muscle, more dense muscle. So now she's over here saying, well, maybe there's a way that women can equal that, can find a way to equal that. Well, now you're not even talking about what we're talking about. You're talking about now a different.
What?
Work smarter, not harder.
Work smarter. Not harder.
How? Okay. Here's
We make the men
task.
do it.
Yeah.
Here's the task.
Exactly.
Don't say that.
Here's the
I
task.
would do it.
I'm a dom.
Move.
She just told her don't say that because she just proved her point. They make the men do it because they can't do it. That's why she just said, don't say that.
This pile of rocks that each weigh 70 pounds from point A to point B.
Right.
Okay. Men, due to their physical strength, are going to be superior at
But
doing
women will
this.
come up with like a way to pull it. Or
And
like,
so do men. So did men.
I just don't think it's a
the
good
problem
use of
with your
efficiency.
argument is there's no historical value to say that women would not do better because women were never given the chance. That's all I'm saying.
There is a precedence for it.
Women were
due
never
to-
given the chance to
It would-
try.
Hold on. Why?
But
You
why it
agree?
matters so
You
much.
agree it's a given that men are physically stronger.
Okay.
And do you think historically people also just knew men stronger than women?
Because they forced women to not try.
So
Yes, continue.
are you saying that physical strength is a social, like a social structure?
A little bit.
You're saying it's subjective, social, like physical strength. It's not
Muscular
objective.
men are attractive. Muscular women are ugly and manly. That's a whole thing. I've seen that everywhere. Women who weightlift, women who do boxing, they're not seen as attractive because they're muscular.
What does this have to do with, like,
And I'm telling you.
Okay, that is all cap. There's a lot of guys who think muscular women are actually sexy. Like, hello, like there isn't. It's all about what you like. So what she's talking, that right there is ridiculous. There's actually a lot of women I know who think muscular man is just it's too much muscle. They don't like it. It goes both ways. So what she's talking about is kinks and fetishes. It holds no precedence here. She's reaching for straws.
Right now, and that is today's world. In the olden days, a woman had muscle. That's like vile. That's like against the rights of women.
Against the what? Against the rights of women?
Women have
What rights? Hold on. What are you talking about?
women.
Ladies, let me know if y'all ever heard. I've never heard of a right where women couldn't have muscles. I never heard of that right. I've never seen it. So if y'all know it, please drop the link in the comments.
Because
Have a
women
way.
were supposed to be weak
Look pretty.
Women
and look
are
pretty
weak.
and be tiny.
Wait, say it, go
Maybe
ahead,
you
say
are.
it.
Women are weak.
Maybe you are.
And also, I just understand.
Hold up. That's the thing women hate the most is when women are honest about other women's bullshit. Women cannot stand when another woman, especially when it comes to a guy, women do not like when another woman steps up and say, hey, this guy's right. They hate that. Like, women do not like accountability, and they don't like being told they're wrong, and especially when it comes to being told they're wrong towards a guy. Hey, I'm just telling y'all what the world knows. I'm not judging y'all right now. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not being rude or mean. It's facts. And there's women on here saying it.
And like, why do you have to make it a social thing?
I'm not weak
Because it's
either.
just not a good user efficiency. If you
And that girl looked like she could beat all of them up. So if she's weak, imagine what they are.
send women to plow the field, why don't you just take advantage of each other's talents? And maybe women are better at doing some other jobs, like maybe sewing.
Like what,
and then
giving
men
birth?
That's why there's
That's not a job. That's a
division
part of
labor.
life.
That's why
You know,
women
picking the
were
cherries,
behind
you
the
know.
sewing
You've
been
machine
getting
back
preg-
in the old
Everyone
days.
has their own strengths. We're not
Yeah,
trying to
exactly.
diminish men. Men have their strengths, and we have our strengths. We're trying to come together as a society. We don't want to get away from men. We love men. We want men to just treat us equally,
Truly.
and like respect us, and not
I'm just bullshitting y'all. I ain't got muscle. I was just BSing.
like
Because
it's not that hard to understand.
the second men say we're stronger, we can do more, is the second they started having
But
all
is it-
political
Why are you guys
rights.
comparing yourselves to
Your
us?
logic that they're stronger biologically.
Okay, and
they're
what about it?
stronger.
Is it
But
descriptive?
women
It
can
means
give
that-
birth.
Hold on.
And what about it?
They're
No, I
stronger
want to
doesn't
hear
mean
what
they
she
disrespect
wants to say
women.
about it.
Say it. Go ahead. Say it.
Men are biologically stronger.
No one said no.
So therefore, they're going to be the ones doing the harder jobs that require more strength. I.e., why women couldn't do the coal mine, the construction, the whatever you say that they didn't get the opportunity to do. It's because they're weaker than men, and that's why they didn't get the opportunity. It's not because society made it this way.
Yeah, also I agree
Okay.
that men having more physical strength doesn't mean they're superior to women. And this is totally outside the topic, because a man who is physically weak can still treat women like shit and can still disrespect them.
But do you realize that, especially in the olden days when strength actually
How is she so stuck in the olden days and she's like, what, 23? She don't even know what it feels like to drink out of a water hose. Bro, how the hell is she even talking about the olden days? It don't even look like anybody in her family even were in the olden days. She looked like she lived under a rock and just became created within the last decade or something.
mattered, and even recently, men say that being
All those girls looking at her like, you stupid. That's why they letting her talk. They're not even trying to make themselves look dumb. They just there for the clout.
stronger and working in the olden days makes them better than women. Because I've seen that everywhere.
Arguing that. Nobody's arguing that.
what it sounds
Look,
like.
Can we agree on this? Descriptively, is it true that men are physically stronger than women?
They can be in some certain
It's not just
aspects.
that they. It's not just that they can be. It's that they are.
I don't know. I know
You're
a
not
lot
going
of
to
weak
grant that.
No.
I agree with. Yes, there are weak men. I don't dispute that.
If every man and every woman on the entire planet did the exact same nutrition routine, the exact same workout routine, physically, yes,
Yep.
men could be stronger.
would be
Would be stronger.
Okay,
However,
how
that's
do I
not the
prove this?
case.
So if they did studies and showed, like they did this study with
But why
like
does that even
10,000
matter?
women, the grip strength, for example, men have orders of magnitude greater grip strength than
Okay.
women. So if we're looking at upper
grip
body
is something
strength, which is sort of predominated as it relates to physical labor typically, although there's some component of lower body strength, but men are also stronger in their lower bodies.
Okay.
Now, But would you agree that descriptively that's true?
Yeah. Does that mean they deserve more rights than women?
That's not what we're arguing. We're just saying that.
I never said they weren't stronger.
You seem to
though.
be making the case. You're arguing, well,
I'm just saying
if the
that-
men and women started out in these jobs
I've
at the same
said
time.
since the beginning, if they started off the same jobs, same diet,
They
whatever,
wouldn't
men
be-
would be stronger. However, that's not the case because women have never been given the chance to do.
It doesn't matter. She just said, did she not, world? No matter what, if women and men had the same training, same food, same everything, same opportunity, men would still be stronger. But then she backdoor and says, but that's not the case because women have had the opportunity, so we don't know who will be stronger.
Do
But
any of that.
okay, sure,
They had
but
a head start.
if women were given the chance at the same starting point to start working in these jobs and through whatever it's swinging a pickaxe or digging with a shovel,
Okay.
I still would argue that even if you had a woman working the same amount of hours as a man, it's not even clear to me if they would have that sort of ability to even work the same length of time as a man in a physical capacity, they would not be able to develop the same level of strength as a man, even if they started at the exact same time.
Okay.
We have
And your
different
point is-
hormonal body, like our body.
You're
But
saying-
I'm wondering what the point
Whatever.
of the
I'm-
strength
It's just
argument
not
even
gonna get
is.
through.
I think the point of the strength is that it's nothing to do with the men being better than women. It's a scientifically proven.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Biology and it's a fact. And because
I'm
they are
not saying
and
it
because they
isn't.
are stronger, they can do work that we cannot do. And if we do it, we could do it, but we're not going to do it as good as they do it because
She wants so bad to be a guy. That's what it is, people. She wants so bad to be a guy. And I'm cool with the alphabet community. Don't get me wrong, but she wants so bad. She wants to be a guy so bad. Either that or she hates guys so much that somebody did something. They didn't let her be picked first. She didn't get picked in cheerleading or something. They probably picked a guy to lead the cheerleading squad in high school. I don't know, but somebody done pissed her off.
we don't have the strength that they have. And I would like to mention another thing with your permission. Back then, it wasn't only that the women were not given the opportunity. I think we all agree that back then, as much as women were not allowed to vote and they were put down in other social, points, back then people were more supporting family. Who would raise those kids? Who would take care of the kids? Another thing, they would also support family and religion. And all that was so close together that the women were at home taking care of the kids, doing the housework, and going to church on Sundays. It was a completely different thing.
How depressed were those women?
It was different. But today, let me finish real quickly. Today, it's completely different. But you know what? I support family 100%, and that's what I was taught. And I am so grateful for that. And to see my parents together until their last day, and to see my mother taking care of me and my sister, I'm grateful to heaven today. And my mother was not discriminated. It was a different level of priorities.
But
That's what I think.
But in general, the difference of priorities. If a woman's priority is to be a homemaker and have a family, which is totally normal for women to want that, like I'd love that, it'd be great. If that's a woman's priority and the whole society, the whole country, the whole world believes that a woman's priority is to be the homemaker and the family maker, then that counts out the other women who don't want a husband, who don't have a husband, who are gay, who whatever. All of those people,
All right, look.
but all of those people who are taught that they have to be a family maker and a homemaker are suddenly left out of the job equation,
All right.
and that's unfair.
Okay, a couple questions here, and then I've got to move this on.
All right, y'all. Pretty much, look, whatever she said was just all cap. It's your preference. If you want to work at home, work at home. If you want to work out in the field, go work out in the field. If you want to try to go for that job that you think you can do as a guy, hell, fine. Go try to do it. Go. I know a lot of women that work in construction and stuff like that. Can they do the job as long as a man can? No, and they've said that themselves. But at the end of the day, look, men are more. Our muscle mass is more dense. We have more muscle mass than women do. That's just, like they said, it's a fact. So if you got a problem with that, any ladies in the watching, if y'all got a problem with it, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just sitting here. Anyways, I'm done with this. Y'all have a good night.